This is the purpose of our whole exercise. All these efforts that we are doing is only for this. And there may be some of you will say, no, I don't like to share. I'm not very confident or not study. So no problem. You don't want to share. No problem. That's perfectly all right. You don't have to share. So I will say, yes, I would like to share. It's good for me. It gives me more confidence. It gives me the impetus to study and preach and all. So no problem. That is best. Even better. So that is our thing. That is our thing. There's nothing else. Yeah? Hare Krishna. So everyone, according to their ability, can come, join, participate. It is just like many years ago, I had shared this example, There, it is like our water of Ganges, water of Ma Ganga. Water of Ma Ganga is flowing. And there are many people who use the water of Ma Ganga according to their ability. As long as you use it, that is best. The problem is if you do not use it, then it is waste of opportunity, So we do not expect anything from any one of you. We just expect that we ourselves, we can be Krishna conscious and we are engaged. Bas, that's it. Nothing else. Nothing else at all. Yeah. So let us quickly do our prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naisthiki. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Shashi Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Word to word synonymous translations and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So I hope everyone is doing all right. Yeah? You all are doing well from wherever you're joining us. We are doing all right. Whether it is lockdown or no lockdown, we are okay. Our programs are going on. That is our main concern. I was just thinking, it was so hard. We used to do programs personally before, where the whole morning onwards, we'll be busy cooking. And then we'll be rushing to do our programs in the evening, running in the traffic and then all stress, everything going on, So this is much better. This is like 5-star, 5-star preaching. Sitting at your home and nothing, it's all right, all is settled, no cooking is done. We cooked, offered to Krishna, we had nice prasadam, and we are all right. And lockdown, even better. Some of us has to go to work. Some of us don't have to go to work from home. See? and for those who are not devotees, there's so many trouble, Oh my God, this virus problem, and the virus is going to kill us. Oh my God. Here we have no worry, nothing to think about, No problem at all. Virus or no virus, Krishna consciousness is going on. Is it not so? What do you think our old devotees will realize this? How much hard work you all used to do, man? This is nothing, as compared to the hard work we used to do. Is it not so? No? You think it's hard work?
Yes, Prabhuji, we used to travel so long. And
that's right. You used to come from Hamilton nearly, man. And you used to be always on time, man. Before time. You know,
Yes.
cooking whole day with a cook and then calling and all these things
Mm.
is going on. We had nothing, no problem. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. You know. Okay. All right. So today's we are now live everywhere. So who would like to start today's discussion on the self-realization? And as we discussed further, what is the purpose of our self-realization programs? It is for our own self, nothing else. Anything else is by byproduct bonus, you know. And yes, we are looking for leaders. We are looking for servant leaders, basically. Who can be servant leaders? And those who want to share can share. Those who want to share, no problem. Everything fits in. Everybody fits in very nicely. No issues. Right. So who would like to kick off today? Start the program today, please. Feel free. Oh, sorry, before that. Everybody's okay? Everyone is all right with your lockdown, especially in New Zealand? This is the third week lockdown. Third week finished, nearly finished. Is it okay? Or you feel a bit depressed? You want to talk about this? We can talk offline if you want to. If you're angry, frustrated, I can send you a punching bag, You can punch that. In Japan there was a restaurant. The restaurant was where they give you to drink. Not it was a pub or something, pub. So they make you drink, and there was a room where they give you a glass. So that you drink this so much cup. They've got small pikes of drinking. So they drink, and they said, now this is a room here. There is a wall. Okay, it was a stone wall, a long one. So now this glass which you drink, $5 please. You drink, and then take the name of your whomever you're angry with, your boss or whoever it is, and throw the glass there. Glass on the wall. And they used to do it. It was a great success. So they would pay $5, they would drink, and they said, my boss, so here is for you. Another one. This is what next boss. Everybody used to do this. So if you are frustrated or something, then please tell me. I will send a punching bag. You can punch something, and then you remove your frustration. The best is to spend some time reading Srila Prabhupada's books if you can. That's all right. That is the best situation. Okay. Hare Krishna. All right. Who would like to start, please?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Yes, wonderful.
And thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for giving this opportunity to give my realization. So my realization is actually from Srimad Bhāgavatam in practice. This is actually our spiritual master, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami, has given a lecture on 24th January 2006 in Rajkot. So this was actually concerning the Canto Chapter 1, Chapter 14th onwards. This is actually Maharaj has given very nice examples and given the causes for rejection. So that was a reference from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Describes the circumstances of concerning disappearance of Lord Krishna from the earth after the Kurukshetra war. Actually, Arjuna went to see Lord Krishna to Dwarka after the war. And when he came to know that Lord Krishna is disappear from this earth, he was rejected. When he came from Dwarka and saw Yudhishthira Maharaj saw that he was utterly dejected. So based on that, Maharaj has given his realization, and I have just from that Maharaj's lecture, I have taken some points. So Maharaj says that what are the causes for the rejection? So Maharaj has given some causes for rejection, and especially for the devotees who understand that. So first Maharaj says, your health, if your health is not good, it's not good. So Maharaj says, always you must look after your health. since everything is under Krishna's control, if you take prasadam, and Maharaj also emphasized on to take medicines which are only coming from the tree. So that is our real medicine. Especially Maharaj says the spices like a ginger, cinnamon, peppers, they are the best medicines. The second point, what Maharaj was emphasizing on disrespect and neglect. To avoid neglect to ourselves, we should never take the help from others unnecessarily. In others' disrespect or neglect us, we should never retaliate. Maharaj always says that no retaliation is the best retaliation. This formula is, Maharaj says, is found in Srimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, verse 48. It says that the devotee of the Lord are so forbearing, that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to revenge themselves. So the common people do not follow this. Therefore, they are moved from the lower modes. So our duty is to take them out of this. Then Maharaj says the unfriendly words and threats. If we always try to be friendly with everyone around us, there will be no unfriendly interactions. Then not being able to give charity to the needy. So that actually Maharaj has given the reference from Canto 6, verse 10, chapter 10, verse 6. It is stated that those who are too foolish do not care for others and therefore do not give charity to the needy people. But such tendency is the cause of rejection. So to avoid this, therefore Maharaj said, we have to be generous towards needy people only. Also further, Maharaj says that not able to keep up the promise. Maharaj says that if we are not able to keep up the promise, then we should keep our mouth shut. Don't give any advice. That's what Maharaj says there. Then next point, Maharaj says not being able to give protection. Certain people in certain conditions should be protected. So Maharaj emphasizes here. So we should be protected. If we neglect to protect them, then Maharaj said we will not be able to go to Bhagavatam, which is really, eye-opening instruction from Maharaj. Also, Maharaj further says that dealing with a woman are should be always respected as mothers. Disrespect to woman means destruction. So actually, I remember this dealing with the woman and especially saying all the women except your wife, everyone you should call as mother. I wasn't aware actually when I first joined in Namhata, maybe eight years before. And Amrish always used to say all the female devotees, mother. And I was surprised why he's saying that mother. But one day he clears that this is the instruction from Maharaj, and which I have seen here that Maharaj always says that we must respect women. Then conquered by inferiors. So naturally, being defeated by others leads us to rejection. But the best way to conquer anything in this world is enough hearing, reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the very means of conquest. That's what Maharaj says here. Not taking care of old men and boys and not feeding them. Maharaj says, we have to magnanimous in giving prasadam to everyone, especially old men and young kids who are dependent souls. In not doing so, this service, we need to become narrow-minded. We are going to become narrow-minded. and selfish, and it leads to rejection as well. Loss of intimate relative and or friends. This is not, Maharaj said, this is not under our control. Therefore, we should not be dejected. The body is destined to be destroyed. Therefore, it is better to keep one's focus on the eternal destination, both in one's own sake and for the real benefit of others, which mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, in Srimad Bhāgavatam, canto 1, chapter 13, verse 41, where Sri Narad said, O pious king, do not lament for anyone, for everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, all living beings and their leaders carry on worship to be well protected. It is He only who brings them together and disperses them. Also in further chapter 46, translation, the gross material body made of 5 elements is already under control of eternal time, that is Kal, action, karma, and the modes of material nature, that is guna. How then can it, being already in the jaws of the serpent, protect others? The Lord is the supreme protector and maintainer. If we allow Him to be so and accept His way, then where is the cause of rejection? So what I understand from this Maharaj's lecture, particularly that to avoid this rejection from these various causes, we have to follow the process of devotional service through chanting the holy names, studying the Shastras, and serving the Lord and the devotees constantly. In these 3 activities, we can always realize Krishna, and hence we will never be separated from Krishna. These devotional activities, hence, are the source of supreme joy. Hare Krishna, this is my realization from this particular verse.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Subhan Prabhu, very nice. Thank you very much for your realization, for starting off the program. Now, please don't wait for me to ask all of you. Just continue. If you have any questions also, you can jump in and ask the question to the speaker and continue with the program. Please, please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Sopan Prabhu, for your nice realization. And thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for organizing this program and giving me opportunity to speak. My realization is on the messages that Amrish Prabhu sent on transcription of Guru Maharaj's lecture on Canto 10, Chapter 3, verse 1 to 5. So I was reading all the messages, and the 4th point, my realization is on the 4th point, where I'll just read a point in my words, what Guru Maharaj was saying, that Krishna is our controller. So Srila Gurudev described the pastime of Krishna when daily he was giving charity and people asking material things like jobs, houses, wife, etc. But one person came to ask his devotion service, but Krishna forced that person to wait, and all other people got whatever they wanted, material things. So Narad Muni was standing there and asked about this discrimination. Then Lord said to Narad Muni that as soon as I give them the benediction that they will be my devotee, then I have to be slave to them. So I must know that what master he is. So we remember him, and he also remember us. So to experience this reciprocation, we have to stop anything else in our mind. So particularly the body. Why? Because body takes so much time. I have this, I have that. And as I told you, you must have time to entertain the uh, sickness also. You don't have time, then what is sickness? Srila Gurudev gave the example of laborers, ladies who work in cement and stone and then have to go 3 kilometers away to get water. Even then, no complaints. They have to work in cement and bring the water also and then cooking also. Whole day busy, no doctors. And we don't touch a stone, no cement. Do not have to go out for water and for 3 kilometers. And every day we are sick. Then there must be something because they don't have time. Their mind is clear. Once the water is there, she forgot that she went 3 kilometers. So we also walk many times, few miles, and in the evening we come and we will be tired and just take a bit rest and you are all right. And we completely forget. But what happens, the material things, we keep on talking. I have worked so much, this and that, because someone to hear, someone there to serve us. If there is no one when you are going to tell, then you are alone and then no one to hear you. So you say, you will forget about it. You have headache, all right, and the headache will go away. So this is Krishna consciousness. Please find out the alternative for sickness, an alternative for boredom. And this is the best alternative. And as soon as you came to him, so he can control anything really. So he can control you, your stars also. And that's why the devotee should not run after those astrologers or palmists or anything. It is all mockery of the human existence. Jai, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. So I have realized from this point is that our mind should be engaged in devotional activities all the time. We follow the devotional service process and only focus on that with priority. The rest of the activities and daily chores will keep happening. As Srila Gurudev mentioned that in previous topics, that despite the heavy rain, Mangal Arti happened and we done our work and rain done its work. So we are totally engrossed in discussion of Krishna or Mangal Arti. So this is the point that I realized that once I will be totally engrossed in Krishna consciousness, then I will not have time to entertain material thing or sickness or any other problems. As long as I am entertaining the problems, till then they are disturbing me. I need to find the alternative to this, and Krishna consciousness is the alternative. Actually, in current times, this is the chance. Either we talk about lockdown or COVID or a terrorist attack and feel anxious about it, this situation, or we can engage ourselves in studying Srila Prabhupada books, attend online programs, and chanting. So this is the alternative to end our anxieties. As Amrish Prabhu said in the beginning, that if anybody feeling anxious and about these situations, but actually this is the time we can utilize in Krishna conscious activities, reading Srila Prabhupada books, because we have a lot of time, and realize about those spiritual topics. And even because in current times we have, as Srila Prabhupada said, Ajagar Vritti. So we have this internet and we can do online preaching also. So this is I think this is the best thing. It's the consciousness actually, the way you think. So, and best alternative is Krishna consciousness, as Guru Maharaj said. So you don't entertain other problems, then they will go away. So that's what I realized from. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Very nice. Nobody?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Sanjay Prabhu. And Sopan Prabhu for your nice realizations. And thank you, Brish Prabhu, for this program and opportunity to share our realization. So today I would like to share my realization on one of the melos shared by our dear Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, the cause of our distress. So Prabhuji shared that today. The first line of Srimad Bhagavatam was Canto 11, chapter 23, verse 42 says, "These people are not the cause of my happiness and distress." We all have the wrong notion that the other living entities are the cause of our distress. This is the most important stumbling block in our devotional service. Unless we remove the blocks, we will not be able to do devotional service. This removal of blocks is very well done by Srimad Bhagavatam. By blaming others for everything, we may go on reading Bhagavatam for 10 or 20 years, but that is not going to be of any value. That is not going to be of any use, sorry. The life must change, otherwise it will be a show off. So this is one of the strong instructions by Guru Maharaj, and there is a reference given here of one of the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is not the first time I heard this instruction. Ambrish Prabhu has actually shared that in the past, many years ago, but not exactly in the same format. But I remember actually Prabhuji telling, in our Nahamata program, where Prabhuji said that actually the root cause of all our problems or all the miseries that we're going through is us only. We are the root cause. So there is no point blaming anyone else. So I remember that instruction vividly, and I thought about it quite a lot at that time, and it did help to a great deal. Actually, initially when I came to New Zealand, it was actually mission to get to the New Zealand at that time with all the problems and actually getting the visas and all that. And at point I actually felt like his whole world is actually working against me. And I always had that actually notion, but only thing one thing kept me moving is I know that actually my parents actually taught me you cannot actually achieve anything by simple efforts. You have to work hard, because sometime is your destiny. You're not going to get things easier, so you have to work hard. So that's what I did. But when I actually realized this instruction, and I see actually even in the workplace, there is so much of diplomacy, and actually people criticize each other, they talk behind the backs, and it becomes very difficult for people because they dwell onto those things quite long, and that actually distract them from their work as well. But actually after I thought about it, actually I try not to dwell on these things. If problem comes, I try to solve it. If it doesn't come, we just move on. So it sort of actually help you to actually focus on your goal rather than actually worrying about what people say, what somebody's actually, why he's criticizing, or why he's creating a problem for me. So you just chant, and actually try to surrender to Krishna, and actually it helps quite a lot. So actually I was meditating on that point, actually the cause of our problems. So there is actually a reference given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion. I'll just read what is relevant here. It is stated that in Padma Puran that there are 4 kinds of effects due to sinful activities, which are listed as follows. The first one, the effect that is not yet fructified. Second, the effect that is lying as a seed, and the effect that is already mature, and the fourth is the effect that is almost mature. So here they're talking about actually our sinful activities from the past. So they say that what we currently suffering, the distresses or problems, so that are actually our own sin that are matured or almost matured. So that is what we currently suffering. And there are still seeds in our heart. So that's actually the desires, material desires or simple desires, more appropriately here. So that is lying in our actually heart. And one day they are going to germinate and the seedling will come out. So we are going to actually commit the sin again, or we're going to suffer what we actually committed. So we are actually suffering on account of our past deeds. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, actually, it's very nicely discussed in chapter 2, where they actually talk about, the karmas, there is equal and opposite reaction to everything we do. That is actually, physics also talk about the same thing. There's always a equal reaction to everything that we do. So this is nothing but karma, actually we are accumulating, maybe God knows for how many lifetimes. And they're actually going to on account of that, we are going to suffer in this lifetime or maybe in the next lifetime. So that is one of the things I realized. And the Srimad Bhagavatam verse that actually Guru Maharaj here referred here, actually I went through that reference in Canto 11, where actually the reference is given where it is described that actually mind is the actually very root cause of all the sufferings. There is actually pastime here shared on the actually lifetime of Avanti Brahmana, and actually it is quite actually means intense topic. Actually, I was reading and actually I couldn't stop, but I would actually only read what is actually relevant here to this actually Melo, where it is said that neither the mortal persons, the demigods, the soul, the ruling planets, the reactions of work, nor time are the causes of one's happiness or distress. Rather, the mind alone is their cause, because it is the mind that makes the spirit soul wander in the cycle of material life. The real purpose of all charity, religiosity, and so forth is to bring the mind under control. A person who has already composed his mind in meditation has no need for these other processes. And for a person who is incapable of fixing his mind, they are of no practical use. The false conception of material ego binds the transcendental soul to material sense objects. The Avanti Brahmana therefore became determined to bring himself over the insurmountable ocean of material existence by rendering service to the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Mukund. With the same perfect faith in Lord exhibited by great devotees of the past, only when one can focus his intelligence on the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead can the mind be completely subdued. This is the essence of all practical prescriptions for spiritual advancement. So here, actually, the root cause is given here of all our sufferings. And at the same time, the solution is also provided. So actually here it said that actually in the mind, who's actually is the main root cause that actually kept us actually entangled in this material existence and actually causes us to actually go through this different life in the life forms, birth after birth. It's a perpetual cycle, and we're actually constantly suffering. So as it is said that actually bringing mind under control is the solution. And as we know, actually all Bhagavad Gita instructions is actually directed at actually changing one's behavior. And one's behavior cannot be changed unless we have some level of control over our mind, because unless our mind is under control, how can actually one can change his behavior? So that is the one of the important point I understand. And actually, so realizing this actually is one thing. So now we know, means actually we know we are the actually cause of our own problems. So even we know actually, because we try to become Krishna conscious and we chant and we try to do all the things, but still, as I said, realizing is one thing, and actually implementing is the another. It's very hard to put something in practice. So because by nature, as it say, there are 4 defects that is actually mentioned. The mice, the one of the defect is the actually propensity to criticize. So we always has that. So whenever we actually run into problem, my first instinct is to actually try to find a try to point a finger to something, maybe some person or some situation or this government or whatever. So we always see that actually even the government are creating problem for everyone, increasing taxes and policies, and whatever we think is not actually going in a way we want. So I always think these living entities are causing a lot of troubles. So actually one of the they call adhyatmic klesh. So there's actually miseries given by demigods, miseries given by other living entities, and miseries given by our own mind. And that the last one is the most important, actually the adhyatmic klesh. And as we can see, even if you see in today's world with this COVID and everything, I think that is one of the rising problem, the mental issues. And I can see even actually, means I have experienced that with all this stress and all that. But our mind plays games all the time, even if we know what is the actually real reason I'm suffering, but he always try to convince ourselves that no, somebody else is causing me trouble. And as Guru Maharaj very clearly instructed here, unless we remove the stumbling block, there is no point going on reading Bhagavatam for 10, 20 years, nothing gonna change. So this is very actually strong instruction, and is a very strong instruction to digest. So unless we stop criticizing and try to consider other people or the situation or whatever it may be the cause of our problem, we must realize that actually we are the actually cause of our own problem. So better we focus on ourselves to rectify the issue. And as it says that actually only devotional service can actually put an end to this. Even in the Nectar of Devotion, it is said that actually only devotional service can able to actually stop, these all the actually sinful desires that we have in our heart from actually becoming a seedling. That can actually put an end to that. So it is said that actually this devotional service acts like a blazing fire in the forest. So there is actually example given there. So when there is a blazing fire, it is said that the snakes of these sinful desires are actually killed, immediately. So when there is actually forest fire, it is stated there that I think snakes are actually killed very quickly, because they actually try to live under the foliage and all that dry things on the ground, and they burn very quickly. Other animal can actually flee, or they try to flee, but snakes, they don't have any means, they killed immediately. So by devotional service, by surrendering unto lotus feet of Krishna, actually we can actually either stop, maybe, or maybe actually we can gain a strength, through devotional service, that we can actually go through our difficult situations, without having too much mental anxiety. And here it is also in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11. So here actually they pinpointed that mind, bringing mind under control is the actually prime thing one should do, So So that is also, we cannot bring mind under control unless we follow the actually this particular process that is actually prescribed in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita talks about that actually point quite in detail, how to bring mind under control, because mind is very chanchal. So where there is a verse, Chanchalahi mana Krishna pramati balbadram tasyaham nigraham manne vayor evashi dushkratam, So where Arjun Maharaj is saying that actually bringing mind is very difficult. It is like try to actually control the wind, which is not possible. But Krishna says that by steady practice, it is possible. So actually what we need to do is to actually focus on the instruction that we have learned so far and actually try to implement that in our daily lives. So that is what I actually realized. And so when we realize our own, faults, it is said that Hari Kripa tab janiye jab dikhe apna dosh. It's very famous saying. Amrish Prabhu shared that many times. And it is very actually, one has to understand that instruction by Surdas, So we can actually realize the mercy of Krishna, when we realize our own faults, So when that happens, then we realize that actually there is actually mercy of Krishna on us, because it's very hard for some people to see their own faults. So when you actually start in their journey, actually that is my own realization. When I started chanting, then I realized that actually at the beginning, I actually realized, actually all the bad things that I'd done in the past actually came to your mind, So I actually asked this question to Amrish Prabhu, when I try to chant, I cannot focus, all these things actually used to come to my mind at the time. So Prabhuji told me this actually, the Surdas saying, So actually you are realizing your own mistakes and now you have to work on it, So that is actually realization I had at that time. And now it is the same instruction here. So actually, if you want to progress in your devotional service, as Guru Maharaj says that actually we have to work very hard to remove the stumbling block, we have to focus on ourselves to improve rather than actually try to find, any other people or situation or whatever to blame on. So that is my realization. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. These are all instructions from Guru Maharaj only. Whatever I remember, I repeat, So credit goes to Guru Maharaj, and ultimately credit goes to Srila Prabhupada, our savior, Wonderful realization. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Please continue. This best.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I thought somebody else would take it. So thank you, Sopan Prabhu, for starting the ball rolling. Thank you, Sanjeev Prabhu. And thank you, Srila Prabhu, for your elaborate discussion on the same point which I'm going to refer. Same preparation, same point, Prabhu Kripa Tadjani. But I'll continue what I realize. And thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for taking all those spend a lot of time and trying to find out how we do things and how we're engaged, so keeping us engaged. And thank you to all the devotees who give their association. This is not ordinary by any means. So same realization, cause of our stress. The first line of Srimad Bhagavatam verse 11:23-42 says, these people are not the cause of my happiness and distress. So I will not go and read this because Sridhar Prabhu has given very elaborate description on this. I'll straightway go to the 11:23-42, which is where Maharaj is actually giving that reference, and I will recite that verse. And try to share my realization. Before we do that, I am listening to a class given by Srila Prabhupada, and some devotees were asking him that why it takes so long for people to actually understand Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada replied that Arjuna took only 20 minutes to understand Bhagavad Gita, and he started performing what Krishna wanted, and people spend lifetime, and even then they cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. And the only reason for them not to understand the Bhagavad Gita is Maharaj talking about this. And the verse 11, 23, 42. Dvija uvacha nayam jano me sukha dukkha hetu na devatma griha karma kalaha. Sorry, wrong tune. Nayam jano me sukha dehu ka hetu na devatma griha karma kalaha manaha param karanam atmananti sansara chakram parivartayedayat. Sansara chakram. Translation, and in very interestingly, there is no purport by whosoever written here. The Brahmana said, these people are not the cause of my happiness and distress. Neither are the demigods, my own body, the planets, my past work or time. Rather, it is the mind alone that causes happiness and distress and perpetuates the rotation of material life. And Srila Prabhu spoke very elaborately about mind and how to control mind and what mind is. So mind is basically an energy of Krishna. And we can further, mind is a topic we can talk about a lot, referring to these verses. And in Bhagavad Gita, it also said that once somebody once he's achieved that, he's able to control mind, he's able to engage mind, and that is the super soul stage. Means he has actually achieved that stage. So mind is so important, so critical to all our bhakti process. And going back to this message which Maharaj is talking about, the first line of the Srimad Bhagavatam verse says, these people are not the cause of my happiness. And this is the one point which we need to understand, then what is the real cause of our unhappiness or we're not progressing in all those things. So Krishna consciousness is nothing but the process of self-realization, self-improvement. We are all busy in realizing ourselves. We're all trying to understand ourselves, trying to find our constitutional position. And we can also say that this is the process for self-improvement also. Because if somebody is a true devotee of Krishna and he follows a bona fide system, he will have the qualities which scriptures talk about them just by being a devotee of Krishna. So what is the most critical thing for being a devotee is, I think I have heard it from Maharaj or maybe Amrish Prabhu, is the ABC of Bhakti, where A stands for association, B stands for books, C stands for chanting. So ABC of devotional service is basically association, books, and chanting. If we associate in the right association, like-minded, not like-minded, right association, because like-minded can be dangerous also. And we engage in reading Prabhupada books, which is actually not ordinary. Reading Prabhupada books is a hard job, and reading it every day is even harder. And I have been talking to many people, not only here on now, since we are on online, so we can talk to so many people. We are not limited to talking to anyone. We can talk to anyone. And that's what we do. We keep talking. So when I talk to devotees or I talk to somebody, and they always they may start doing chanting 1 or 2 round, 3 round, 4 round, 10 round, 16 round, but they find it very difficult to read Srila Prabhupada books. But as we understand, we all actually have seen that how much difference it brings to our life to actually reading those Srila Prabhupada books. Now coming to this point of self-realization, which Maharaj is referring and which Amrish Prabhu has shared in the intermediate group. Canto 3, Kapil Maharaj also said that knowledge is nothing but self-realization. So once we have realized this, we have actually acquired this knowledge. And in the same context, Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, verse 8 to 12, where Krishna telling Arjuna, what is knowledge? And the knowledge has got those 18 ingredients, which I'll quickly read. And before I conclude my realization. So that is humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, and self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, non-attachment to children, wife, home, and the rest, and even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, resorting to solitary places, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I thus declare to be knowledge, and what is contrary to this is ignorance. So Krishna is crystal clear. No if, no if, no but, and it's all black and white. What is knowledge? What is not knowledge? And this, whatever point we have actually, Krishna is telling, this is not taught in any school in modern education, which Prabhupada has many times talked about this. And see, that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. That is the beauty of self-realization, and that is the beauty of right association. That this kind of knowledge is automatically coming when we become a devotee of Krishna. And in the purport, which is very long purport of these verses, Prabhupada says just by becoming a devotee, just by engaging in devotional service, everybody can have this knowledge. And if somebody is not having this knowledge, means he's not a devotee, or he's still trying to be a devotee. So this cause of our distress is actually us, as Siddhal Prabhu also said, and we are the only responsible for actually removing that cause and not having stress. That's my relation. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Avinash Krishna. Yes, please continue.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much, Sopan Prabhu, Srila Prabhu, Sanjeev Prabhu, and Avinash Prabhu for your very nice realizations. My realization is, sorry, my video will be off as I read this quote from my phone. It's a quote by His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. It's actually very much related to what all of the realizations were referring to. So this is, I'll just read the quote here. By getting upset, we don't harm the living entity on whom we are upset, but we harm ourselves. The whole blood circulation goes wrong as soon as you are angry. Never be victimized by this enemy. Anger is our enemy. Any time and every time we are upset or angry, never do that. That is how devotees, those who are running after Krishna, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, the first installment you get is you become very happy. And if you are not happy even after you're chanting, then think that you are not up to that standard. So I read this quote, and it was very powerful, but also very revolutionary. This idea about, you should not be angry in any stage of, even when you're practicing Krishna consciousness, there should be no question about being angry. And Srila Gurudev has said a lot of quotes on this. I remember one in particular where Maharaj said something which to this day is one of the most hard-hitting quotes I've ever I've ever seen, is that when Maharaj said that when you're angry, consider yourself an atheist, because you're not seeing Krishna's hand in the things that are going on in your life. If you see Krishna's hand in what's going on in your life, then there's no question of being angry, because everything is Krishna's will. So the process of understanding that everything is Lord Krishna's hand is not as easy as just waking up one morning and just flicking a switch and saying everything that's happened to me is Krishna's plan. That's fine, because it's a process of understanding, as Avinash Prabhu nicely mentioned, that it's all about self-realization. The entire process is self-realization. And what does it mean to be self-realized? It's to be in a constant understanding of your constitutional position, constant understanding that everything that is happening to you is not in your control. As again, Srila Prabhu, Sanjay Prabhu, Sopan Prabhu also very nicely mentioned. And that all these topics really relate to each other about distress and how we navigate through distress. So, as Srila Gurudev mentioned in the quote, that when we come to the Krishna consciousness, it's very important for us to to quickly get at least not necessarily grasp the idea, but at least keep the idea in our head that what we are doing is not in our control. Krishna is the center of everything, and it is up to us to understand that. So there's no question of being upset or trying to challenge Lord Krishna's authority. So it took me a very, very long time to even think about it this way, because as I said, when I first heard this quote by Srila Gurudev and all the related quotes about being angry, it was really revolutionized in my entire conception of how to look at Krishna consciousness, how to look at life, etc. And I think it's something that's very, very unique to Srila Gurudev, and that we can see there that how to what extent Maharaj was dependent on Lord Krishna, and that's something that I look as a source of inspiration to. Then anything and everything you look at, try and see Krishna's hand in everything. And if you feel upset, if you feel challenged by it, then you are not accepting that authority. So yeah, that's my small realization. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Please continue.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your nice realizations. It is absolutely wonderful. I want to share something about the realizations before I start my realization. And the thing is that, there is something called telepathy or something called similar thinking that happens. And we experience that with our near and dear ones many times, like you're thinking about something or about someone. It could even be about thinking about the same verse or pearls of wisdom from Srila Gurudev. And it so happens that when you share that realization, you hear from the other devotees that, yes, they were also thinking on the same lines. And I actually feel like that today. I feel like everyone's realizations are so interconnected as also similar. And I was also thinking on the same lines today. So I've got a lot of things. I am going to read a few quotes from Srila Gurudev. So for some time, my video will be off, and then I'll give my realization on that. So these are pearls of wisdom from His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, our dear Srila Gurudev. The title is Follow One, 9 Will Come. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse 26, Srila Prabhupada in the second paragraph of the purport to this verse explains about the Varnashram principles which Bhishma Dev highlighted to Maharaj Yudhishthira. Bhishma Dev advised for all human beings 9 qualifications. 1. So here Srila Gurudev says that if you follow 1, then the 9 will come. So 1 is not to become angry. 2 is not to lie. 3 is to equally distribute wealth. 4 is to forgive. 5, to beget children only by one's legitimate wife. 6, to be pure in mind and hygienic in body. 7, not to be inimical towards anyone. 8, to be simple. And 9 is to support servants and subordinates. So as soon as we go to Krishna, all good qualities assemble in us. Krishna is 1. Therefore, if you follow 1, 9 will come. All the above 9 good qualities are bound to manifest in a soul surrendered to Krishna. The second pearl of wisdom, it doesn't matter. We are bound to come across different persons in the society. Try to excuse them by thinking it doesn't matter. People are products of their circumstances and their actions are governed by the modes. This is how we have to safeguard our interest in going to Krishna, ignoring success or failure in our so-called relationships. We nevertheless try our best to deal with everybody really nicely. This is a very interesting one. Loving relationship improves our health. You're working for others and Krishna particularly. So there is reciprocation in health. And one thing we should remember, that body doesn't survive with food alone. It requires the loving relationships. The loving relationships are needed for the healthy condition of life. You know, in the Western world, these people lying in the hospitals, nobody goes to see them. So for months together, they lie there. They don't get better. But the patients for whom people come to see, they get improved day by day. Some loving attention has to be there. It is not only food or medicine, but loving attention has to be there. So practically, we must show some love. Unselfish love for the living entities on our part is the way we show our care for their welfare. Others' welfare means not only distribution of food, distribution of clothes, economic help, or whatever, but we should have some genuine love for the living entities. And this is the last one. Material modes stop our smile. We are always contaminated by the modes of material nature, such that we are not able to smile. Smiling is a big austerity nowadays. A cow is not coming to you. A dog is not coming to you. It is only a human being coming to you. And why not you give a smile and give few pleasing words? This always makes me smile actually when I read this. So, stop. So, when I was reading these pearls of wisdom, I was also thinking, I mean, obviously it's very apparent to talk about our condition. And given we had Janmashtami, and we had Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, and then we had Ekadashi. So we had a lot of festivals last week. And I'm sure all the devotees performed a lot of austerities of the body and of the mind both. So I was thinking on this point that what is really austerity? And it comes about as penance, it comes about in many of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev's verses and quotes. And I was thinking that something, for example, getting up early in the morning might be an austerity for someone, but not for somebody else. Not eating might be an austerity for someone. Not sleeping might be an austerity for someone. But it might not be for someone else. So it's very relative, the austerity that we experience in this material world. And I was thinking, why is it like that? Why is it different for everyone? So then I thought, okay, I was just focusing on what are the things that I feel are very austere. It's very hard for me to perform. And what are those things that are very easy to perform? So then I thought that that comes through practice. So how, what are our circumstances? As Srila Gurudev mentioned, we all come from different circumstances, different backgrounds, different experiences, different set of people that we are brought up with, our parents, our grandparents, our immediate family, and our broader family, friends, acquaintances, colleagues, everything. And we are brought up in a particular manner. And I remember as children, we had one habit in our home, and that was that we all had to get up early, no matter what time of the day you slept, what time of the night you slept, and whatever happens, whether you're studying or whatever it is, you had to get up early. There was no question about it. And it was just a practice. As we were young, we used to have sleep when we woken up, but it became a practice. And over the years, it became very natural. It did not become something that you think that, oh, it's a great thing. I think it just comes naturally, and I'm sure many of us feel the same. Whereas there are other things that we find very difficult to do, and that is because we don't have, it's not our habit, or we haven't practiced enough. So it just reminds me of Bhagavad Gita, verse 6, chapter 6, verse 35. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Asamshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam Abhyasena Tu Kaunteya Vairagena Chagrayate. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Blessed Lord said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by constant practice and by detachment. So I thought that I definitely feel that the most difficult thing is to curb the restless mind in this world. And if that can also be achieved by constant practice, then anything else can also be achieved by constant practice. And of course, detachment. Also, on the same point, I was thinking that when everyone is talking about how we should deal with our distress, and how we should not deal with our distress. What are the things we should do, we shouldn't do, we shouldn't be angry, we shouldn't do this. It's our attitude, it's our consciousnness. If we see our own faults, then that's the best thing to do. And I absolutely feel that that is just the right way to go. On that note, I was also thinking that in a given time in a given day, for example, or in a given week, or in a given month, for all of us, we are doing so many things. You get up in the morning, you have the threefold miseries always attacking you. Either it is Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, Adi Daivik, always something or the other is happening. Like we had this coming week, we had the floods in West Auckland. Then we had the terrorist attack. So also then we have COVID going on, and a lot of mental issues going on with people. So the work stream at work are also making sure that the mental state being of everybody is good. And Prabhuji also asked that. And I felt it was very good of Prabhuji to ask that, because sometimes because we are devotees of Lord Krishna, or we think, we're trying to follow Krishna consciousness, we feel, we're all right, but we are still trying. So we may not be, So when I thought about that, I thought that actually in a given day, there are, when you talk to people who are not following Krishna consciousness, they list down the things and list down the activities that they do. You get up in the morning, you do so many austerities, you have to get up for your children, you have to take them to different classes and this and that, and there is no time for anything. There's no time for oneself, there's no time for the children, there's no time to sit and relax, and you're working, and there's a lot of pressure in those things. And I thought, okay, right. And that happens with all of us as well, because we're all living in the same material world. The only difference is that we, as pointed out by all the devotees, we acknowledge that we have these problems. We acknowledge that is the nature of this material world. It's not going to go away. And the only thing we can do is we can learn how to deal with it. And the first thing we need to do for that is to change ourselves. So I absolutely agree with my Prabhuji always mentions this point that Hari Kripa tab janiye jab dikhe apna dosh, and that makes a lot of sense. Even when I have spoken to a few people who go for life coaching and everything at work, and the first thing they say is to do is the same thing. It's you have to change your attitude. You cannot change anything around you. So in a way, in a subtle way, they also accept that they can't change the circumstances that are happening around them, but you can change yourself. You can change your own attitude, how you look at things. I don't remember the full quote by Srila Gurudev, but there is this quote where Srila Gurudev mentions that, you will come across a lot of problems in your life, and at one point of time, these waves will stop affecting you anymore. How do you do that? And that is only and only by abhyasena, by practice of Krishna consciousness. Because another quote by Srila Gurudev, very important, that do not try to find material solutions for your material problems, because there is no material solution. Just find a spiritual solution to your material problems as well, and then they will go away. They won't go away, of course, but you will learn how to deal with them, and they will stop affecting you. So when I was thinking about this particular point, I was thinking that in a given day, like Prabhuji also mentioned that, we used to have the programs in the Newland Community Center. And I remember, I'm sure all the Matajis experienced the same thing. We had our own house things to do, and we used to all do the cooking. We used to run around, go there, serve, come back. Your Saturday is completely finished in that. Of course, it's not finished, it's a devotional service, but I really appreciated that, all the Matajis, without any, there's so much austerity in it. And they were always smiling. When you meet them at 6 o'clock, they all are always smiling, And that really amazed me always, and really made me appreciate how much hard work goes behind it, behind the scenes. And then, of course, then they had the Sunday where they had to catch up on the work, and then rest if you had time to rest, and everything like that. When I was thinking of that, I thought that, it's much better that we spend our Saturdays doing devotional service, because you're in consciousness of cooking for Krishna, cooking for Krishna's devotees. And though there is a lot of austerity there, austerity also brings a very subtle pleasure in it, where it's related to Krishna. And the last thing that I really wanted to point out today was that I might have to read this one more. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse 5. Arjuna uvacha vachito aham maharaja harina bandhurupina yena me paprantam tejo deva vishmabanam mahat. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Arjuna said, O king, the supreme personality of Godhead, Hari, who treated me exactly like an intimate friend, has left me alone. Thus my astounding power, which astonished even the demigods, is no longer with me. And when I read this verse for the first time, it really opened my eyes, and I thought that Arjuna is people in India name a lot of people in India name their children after Arjun. Amongst all the 5 Pandavas, it's probably the most popular in terms of that. And of course, it was Arjuna who Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to. And I was thinking that Arjuna is declaring here that his power is no more because Lord Krishna is not there. And then I remember the small story that my mother used to always tell me. And that was the story about Lord Krishna being the charioteer of Arjuna in this big war, which was Mahabharata. And there was always, take home lesson in that. And the lesson in that was, I still remember that lesson. And that was, my mother used to ask me, okay, so what did you learn from this? So the lesson from that small story for me was that, why did Arjun win the war? Arjun won the war only because Lord Krishna was with him. And that really, as a small child, I'm talking about when I was probably Navina and Subhadra's age, from that time when I used to listen to the story. And that always stayed with me. And when I read this verse, it kind of confirmed that, this is so amazing. I mean, everything we have sometimes pride. I mean, I have a lot of pride that, I'm very intelligent or whatever it is. But actually nothing is to our credit. It's only and only because of Lord Krishna's mercy and the mercy of all the great Vaishnavas. And it made me realize that, actually we are so helpless without Lord Krishna. And we are just nothing. That also reminded me of the incident with Draupadi. And I was thinking that Draupadi, she had her husbands as 5 Pandavas. They were the emperors of the whole world. I mean, nothing could conquer them, right? And still, she went for help when the Vastraharan happened. She went for help to the Pandavas, to Bhishma Dev, to the gurus, everywhere. But ultimately, only Lord Krishna could save her. And that also made me realize that, we spend so much, there is so much endeavor in our life, as Srila Gurudev was mentioning in the verses also, that so much endeavor in our lives to create so many relationships and so many things and so much effort in so many material things. But if we utilize that, we channelize that resource, time and effort towards building our relationship with Lord Krishna, how good would that be? I mean, that just would be amazing, because I was thinking to myself that how stupid am I, that I'm thinking that this is going to save me, or this action is going to save me, or that is going to save me. Nothing is going to save me, nothing except my surrendering to Lord Krishna. And then everything will be taken care of. And in spite of knowing it, why am I not surrendering to Lord Krishna? I'm still holding back. I don't know, what am I holding back? So one day, hopefully with the mercy of all these great Vaishnavas here, with all your blessings, I would be able to achieve that, to completely depend on Lord Krishna, the one who never leaves us in any time, place, or circumstance, and who boldly says that Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vrajam. Aham tam sarva papebhyo moksha asmi masucha. So I really, really wish that in this lifetime, I would be able to abandon all forms of religion and just completely surrender into Lord Krishna. And that I can do only by serving, not him directly, but serving all his devotees and devotees of devotees of devotees and all the great Vaishnavas here. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. This is Abhiram once again. Hare Krishna Mataji, please don't cry about everything is all about Krishna's mercy, Mataji. And to be very honestly, what you said is right, actually. But please don't cry. Even then I also cry, Mataji. Okay, and this happens to a lot of everybody, Mataji, everybody. I have always discussed with these things with His Grace Amrish Prabhu about all these things. And this is natural, Mataji. 2017, I landed in this country. And I think today somebody very much clearly mentioned, as much we read with the Bhagavatam, as much we read so many things, but we need to understand Krishna and then about the self-realization with the association of the devotees. So one of the Mataji, because I was not that time, I was very much new in New Zealand, and traveling is a big problem from one side to other time. So one of the Mataji told me, a casual devotee. Prabhu, this is what happens to me. A casual devotee. I'm a casual devotee. That is the thing. I never understand for the last 25 years in this movement, our devotee is having also casual role, permanent role, part-time role, that type role, lot of things. But I first time get the things, as a casual devotee. That day it's really hard. When the time her husband needs help, the only one person stands with her husband is me. But then also after the time, I'm not regretting what I had done years and years about it. Still they say to me about the casual devotees, So that's hard. But because they doesn't realize the things. That is what I was always trying to say. Even in the last lecture also, they don't know what is about realization meaning. How they talk, how they think, and what is their act. These are the three different aspects of the life, particularly when we are acquiring this materialistic body, we are working in a three different direction. That is the reason the realization is not there. And what they know, they claimed me as a casual devotee. I got hurt that day very much, but I didn't care about that. Still she is doing Bhagavatam, she's still doing Bhakti Shastri, and she's doing a lot of things, and having a lot of fundas, but can't prove how every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That is what the thing. So how to talk about this? So Mataji, please don't cry. This is, I realize what's having the pain, but obviously I can understand the way you guys had done in the New Link until date. Okay, is very much, remarkable, particularly when we are in this part of the world and at this stage in the lockdown period, when we are going day by day with the deltas, we are having a Christchurch attack and everything. But still, then you have to think about other devotees also who are in Mumbai, who are in India. They have so many attacks. They are suffering with the deltas and everything, but still they are practicing the things. So that will be happen always happen. And sorry if I said anything, but that's That's a part of the nature, that's a part of the nature. People in this world whom you helped, whom you love, they forget everything. So they forget their own realization. So how could these people whom we don't know also just within a moment, they can understand a lot of things. So that's happened, but doesn't matter. End of the day, my mother says always, when you have a Krishna, think about Krishna. Doesn't matter about everything. Somebody asked me today, what is the goal of your life? And I mean, just before the class, and they want to stay in the Mayapur and everything, I says, wherever I can stay, we stay with the Krishna, even in a small cottage house also. That is what if we have, that's it. When the time in the lockdown, my mother last time explained that I can't do anything for you. But the one thing she told me very much, Abhiram, we don't have money, we don't have nothing, but at least we have Krishna in our life. That is very much important. And that's what we are doing. Thanks very much, Mataji. I'll stop right now because I have some other things to do. And thanks very much, Amrish Prabhu, once again. It's very nice lecture about the self-realization. Yeah. Thanks very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Krishna from the casual devotees.
Haribol. Haribol, Prabhuji. Very nice realization. I wasn't crying. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Just wanted to let you know. Thank you.
Yes. Others, please. We've got still half an hour to go. Hare Krishna. Or if someone
Hare
has...
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, please continue.
So Prabhuji, I prepared this realization on Janmashtami, but couldn't present it because there was a very limited time, so I didn't say anything. So
5 minutes. Everybody was given. Or you have more time. You want to speak for longer?
No, Prabhuji, because everyone was waiting for your realization. So
No. That is not important. You must speak your realization. Yours are more important than mine. I keep speaking all the time. There's a time where I want to hear from all of you. Please continue. Please.
So yeah, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, all Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for your realizations. And yeah, so Janmashtami is a day to celebrate, a day to cherish and reaffirm our faith and make it more stronger. The one more step for everyone on this journey to go back to our home, Golok Vrindavan. Krishna said, Yada yadahi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. Krishna incarnates on the in material world to get rid the world of the evil, re-establish dharma, and delivers to devotees. He was the greatest leader ever to be born on this planet. He kept his promises. He did all that he promised. As we know, Krishna's pastimes he is the Supreme Lord and everything emanates from him. As we have learned about Krishna's birth and his pastimes on this earth. But this pastimes is not like completed like 5,000 years so that was happened and that is done. But in I read in one of the Prabhupada's book that the Krishna's pastimes are always happening at any given time. There are many Krishna's pastimes are happening in real time in different universes or on different planets. and it may be happening in another galaxy also. So at any given time, the Krishna is performing his pastime. So we don't have to actually wait for Janmashtami to remember his pastimes in Vrindavan. So we should cherish Krishna's pastimes every day. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who gave us the holy name, the Sankirtan moment. He also told us that the Krishna incarnated as his holy name, the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's how we cherish Krishna through his holy name. And I may one day find that long lost connection with Lord through the chanting the holy name. So it is very imperative that we recite the Mahamantra as much as possible, because he is incarnated as his holy name. But chanting the holy name, it should not be limited to ourselves. It should expand to the other people who doesn't have any idea about Krishna consciousness or what is the Krishna consciousness movement. So it is through the preaching the holy name, we spread this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to other peoples, and that's how we expand our chanting of holy names. So how beautiful it will be if someone is chanting the holy name because of our preaching. So that's what I realized, that we should spend our energy, our efforts to learn all the instruction, and maybe one day be qualified to preach the holy name to others. And yeah, and I have so many great examples in front of me, all of you great devotees. You are the great examples I should follow on this devotional path to attain the ultimate goal. And I should follow all the instruction given by Prabhuji and all the devotees. And with Krishna's mercy, I'll be helpful in our Namata program in spreading the holy name. It is because of Sheetal Prabhu, Namrata Mataji, and Prabhuji, you, and all the devotees, I am here on this path, even if I have a long way to go and learn more things and implement all those instructions in my life. And with the blessings from all of you, at the end, I may reach the goal. And Krishna is here all the time through his holy name. This was told by another great devotee of Lord Vittal, the Sant Tukaram Maharaj. So we watched the movie the Sant about Sant Tukaram Maharaj recently. I have seen that movie many times. Like when I was a child, it used to come on the TV, but I didn't realize that time.
The old black and white movie.
Yeah, Prabhuji, the old black and white movie.
That is very nice. I don't know the new one if there is there any, but that was very good. It was very sattvic.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
A lot of philosophy there. Our philosophy is there.
Yeah.
Our exact philosophy is there of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. That's what I realized. That's what I was going to say, Prabhuji. So when I saw that movie when I was in my school time or in my college times, I didn't realize what was the message was, or why the Sant Tukaram Maharaj did what he did. Like, so it wasn't a logical that time. Like, but now after like reading Srila Prabhupada's book, hearing all of your lectures, instructions from Mamaji, so now I can see that what a great devotee he was, and what a great example for us to follow. And he was in my home state in Maharashtra. So he was born in Maharashtra and was mainly situated in Dehu, Pune. And the movie, the Sant Tukaram Maharaj's movie, was very eye-opening and showed me how far I must go to become a pure devotee. It also shows that how much attachment I have with the material possessions. When when it was time for Sant Tukaram Maharaj to leave this material world, as he was leaving, he sang his last abhanga, where he said that "Ami jato amcha gawa, amcha Rama Rama gyawa." So it literally means that I go where I belong, and I bid you all farewell. So at the end, he was very much aware of his goal and where he belonged, in Vaikuntha Loka with his Lord Vittal. So after watching the movie, I remembered one of the verses I read when Mamaji was Shital Prabhu was preparing for his lecture from Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is from Canto 1st, chapter 18, verse 48. Tiraskruta vipralabdha shaptaha Shipta hata api nasya tata pratikurvanti tadbad bhaktaha prabhopihi. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. So in the movie, Sant Tukaram Maharaj was defamed, he was cheated, he was disturbed and neglected by the society, by other people's, his colleagues, his family, but he never even flinched from his devotional service, and he never tried to avenge the actions or get a revenge. He always thought that that's what the Lord Vittal has meant to do with his life. So he accepted the situation and continued on his devotional path. So Prabhuji, that's what I realized, that we should always stay firm in our devotional service, and like in Mataji said, adjust our attitude, and just chant Krishna's name and accept the situation. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, that's it.
Very nice, Mamaji. Very good, Shridhar. And Mamiji. Namrata Mataji, very nice. Yes, why not? And you can preach also. Help them to preach. Make other new people chant Hare Krishna. That's what you want to do. Wonderful. Very
Thank you
good.
to you, Prabhuji, for preaching us. Otherwise, we can't do that.
It's all past. It's all done. Things are there now. It's the best. That's always.
All credit to you, Prabhuji.
No. It's all done. Now this credit to you. Very good. Best.
Mayuresh Prabhu, I would like to say one thing to you. If you follow your mama and mommy, you will never go wrong. You know why? Even Srila Gurudev says this, that in the olden days, like in now, current days, if people have a problem, then they go to psychiatrist or whatever, a doctor and this and that. But in the olden days, they used to go to, one person, like Srila Gurudev was saying. And that one person solved all the problems. And that one person was Mama. So, which is so true. I mean, I've personally also experienced that in my life. So you will never go wrong. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much, all the devotees, for your nice realization. So we just talk about that. My realization is from Guru Maharaj's calendar dated on 23rd September, which is, I felt, the quote is, see to it that your attitude suits the others. When your good action and behavior flows with the nature of others, they are pleased and inspired in their own actions. They may be younger or older, but we should be very pleasing to all. So from this, what I was meditating on this quote, and then I remember the Srila Prabhupada. Because Srila Prabhupada, when first time went to US, he had nothing with it, not except the scriptures. He don't have any material things like more money or anything, but he used to go to the park and sing the kirtan and all. And because of his good actions and nice behavior, all the so many people become so nice devotees, and then he inspired so many people. Our Guru Maharaj is also one of the nice example of that. That because of his attitude and good actions, so many people become his disciples as well. So when I was thinking about it, that all the nice devotees of Guru Maharaj, Amrish Prabhu and his family, Avinash Prabhu and all. So I also get inspiration from them. So so I'm just thinking about this quote, and I feel that it's true that because of our good actions or behaviors, it makes lots of difference in our life. So thank you very much, all the devotees, for inspiring me to in this path of Krishna consciousness. That is my today's realization. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mother.
Hare Krishna, devotees. Thank you so much for your really nice realizations. I think everyone has almost covered everything that I wanted to say, but I'll keep this short. That I was recently reading Prabhupada's book, On the Way to Krishna, and I gave my realization on Srila Prabhupada's appearance day on the same book. So like it's about a particular verse that Prabhupada mentions in the second chapter, and he kind of tries to elaborate it further, and it really touched my heart in a certain way. The verses, I think chapter 9, verse 30 is. Api chit suduracharu bhajate mamananya bha sadhuriva samantavya samyak vyavasitu hi saha. It says, Prabhupada writes in the purport that a person may commit some sinful activities due to his past association and poor habits, but if he is engaged in devotional service, then he is to be considered saintly. He will gradually purify and become a sadhu. So the word ananya bhak, it means without deviation. That if you're engaged in devotional service without deviation, then gradually you will become purified and all the bad habits will go away. So the first thing that I understood from this is that it's like, even if you're engaged in your devotional service, and if sometimes you have an accidental fall down, then it's okay, because gradually you will become purified. And because you keep engaging in devotional service, like Krishna finds a way to make it easier for you to keep continuing on the right path. And So it's important to not be remorseful. And the second thing that I kind of realized when I was reading that chapter is that you have to be patient with your bhakti. That Krishna has given us this leeway that if you're engaging in my devotional service, then you are to be considered a saint. Krishna has given us this leeway because he thinks that if we continue on this path patiently, then slowly all the inauspiciousness will go away and we'll have the courage to will find the right reason and the willpower to continue on the right path. I want to focus more on the second part of this because it's something that I've personally felt a lot. That patience is not only required to give up your bad habits, it's also required to acquire better habits and to gain good habits. So patience is not just to leave to follow the regulative principles. It's also to get up early in the morning, chant your rounds, to puja, all of that. Patience is required for all of that. And that's not to say that you have to be laid back in your devotional service and okay, things will happen. It's that if you don't have to be morose, that if you fall down sometimes or if you're not able to reach the standard that you set for yourself, there's no need to be morose because it's very, very important to be sincere. I really like reading the posters of Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj because they're always so, they're always emphasize a lot on sincerity and dedication, and that you have to keep this. There is no doing this half-heartedly. You have to do it full-heartedly. So I feel like especially when it comes to giving up bad habits, patience is necessary to, first of all, to realize that they are bad habits and then to act on it, right? So I like that because you have to find the courage to say no to certain things when you're trying to follow regulative principles. So one of the things that I've found personally is that I'm a very non-confrontational person, that I can't confront people. So when I was trying to give up certain bad habits, even though I had realized that they were bad, it was very difficult for me to convey it to people, especially my family. So I was always trying to give excuses and like trying to wiggle my way out of it, that yeah, I don't want to do this today and I'll do this later. But I was always very anxious about it, that how long will I keep this charade going, that I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But I don't know how, I don't know how that courage came to me, that one day I just told my family that I wouldn't be doing this anymore. And it would be very nice if you could keep up with this, if you could cooperate with this, because I don't want to do this anymore. And like that, like I did not even realize when I was doing it that slowly they just kind of accepted it the way it is. And so I remember one of the very early classes that Ambrish Prabhu was giving, that no is a very powerful word. So, and I also, another thing that I realized that also Ambrish Prabhu mentioned is that you have to smile while saying no. And at that time, when I heard it the first time, it did not make any much sense to me. But now when I'm doing it, it makes a lot of sense, because when I smile, when I say no, that no, I don't want to do this, and I smile, people just know that I won't change my decision, that this is what it is. Otherwise, if you say no to things, that sometimes people think that it's some kind of a weakness, or there's something that's holding me back. But if I'm smiling, then it means that they know that I'm happy with my decision. So there is no arguing with me when it comes to that. So that's that. I found that really helpful. And along with giving up poor habits, when it becomes even easier to adopt better habits, because like the household that I come from, that is my father is very emphasizes a lot on that you should be disciplined. So for 20 years of my life, I've tried to kind of wake up early, do this and do that, be very clean. But just in 1 year, Krishna made all of this possible for me without me even realizing. So I feel that when Krishna says that you are to be considered saintly, even if because of your past bad association, you have you're kind of missing in your bhakti. When Krishna says that, yeah, gradually you will change, that he really means it, and he does all the things to kind of facilitate that process. So that's one thing that I'm not saying this because I am very sincere, but in whatever things that I have done better in my life, I find that being sincere and having that patience has really helped me, because I've whenever I've tried to do something, I've fallen down a lot in that process. Kind of getting up early in the morning, finishing your rounds, bathing every day, things like that. Things that I think about when in my earlier life, I think that I would have found these same things so very difficult to do. Right now, I feel like if I don't do these things, I will not feel good enough, or like it's very disgusting when I'm not able to do these things. So that's what I really like about even the transcendental mottos of Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, and wherever we discuss here in WECAN, that it's all very practical, that you need to discipline yourself and regulate yourself, and you have to be patient and have faith in the process. So that, because sometimes it's very demotivating when you're starting out in your bhakti that you're not able to do this and that. So that, and another reason that I wanted to give this realization today is because that for a really long time, I've been feeling really troubled about the kind of person that I used to be and the kind of things that I used to do. So all of that for a really long time, it has troubled me a lot. And so I often find myself really regretful and really sorry for everything. So I remember that I was asked on Prabhupada's appearance day, I was kind of asking for his forgiveness. So, and then just the next day, I kind of read this chapter and this thing that Prabhupada written, that even if you're engaged in devotional service, and all the bad habits and all the things of your past, they're not to be considered important, because gradually you'll be able to purify yourself. So I find that in a way that Prabhupada is kind of consoling me that it's okay. So yeah, so I feel truly blessed. I feel truly blessed, and yeah, that's something that I need to realize, that in whatever endeavor I have, I need to be really sincere, and I need to have faith that Krishna is holding my hand while I'm doing it. So Hare Krishna.
Very nice, very nice. Hare Krishna, very nice. You see, Prabhupada is very much alive, you know. It's like Krishna is alive, Prabhupada also alive in our life. We will just give Krishna a chance, give Prabhupada a chance, you know. Very nice. All the best. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you everyone for your very nice realizations. My realization is from the post Prabhuji has posted in WECAN Sangha Intermediate, and this is part of Srila Gurudev's lecture. So I'm just focusing on the second point of this lecture. So the second point is mode of goodness drives away all misunderstandings. So Srila Gurudev says that those living entities who are not with Krishna, they have thousands and thousands of matters to speak. Either they speak about the weather or some film or some political matters or so many things, you know. The two towers were destroyed. For 1 year, there was no other talk as if it was Krishna. Even now, 11th September, do you know 11th September? He becomes ecstatic. It was a destruction, but they enjoy the destruction. We have to talk about something, so we think better. Let us talk about these things. And as soon as you come to Krishna, one of the best qualities of Krishna is always we are in the mode of goodness. And if we are in the mode of goodness, the misunderstandings are completely absent. That's the best benefit. Otherwise, our mind is an enemy. And so many minds are there. They really bang at each other's minds. One mind, one mind we cannot control, then 2 minds, 3 minds, 4 minds, all the clashes are there. All the clashes are there. That's why we don't know about the spiritual progress maybe by chanting Krishna's names, but here we are benefited because Sarva Gunopetam, all becomes completely auspicious. Everything becomes completely auspicious. What to talk of appearance of Krishna, actually, you know, only he was in the womb of Devaki, and that time Kansa has gone there. Kansa was a fearful enemy of Devaki. He wanted to kill her in the beginning when she was married, but that day he could not do anything. He said, "Oh, Devaki looks so very effulgent. I can't see her. So let her go. She is my sister anyway, and if I kill her now, my name will be spoiled." These all good things came to him. See, the demon also changes. So what to talk about us? We are really favorable to Krishna, and because we are favorable to Krishna, As soon as we do any activity regarding Krishna, all these lower modes are completely absent. And when we are victimized by lower modes, our life becomes a drag. We don't want to do that. Our life is meant for realization of Krishna. Why to make it drag? No, there is no need of it. And we are lucky that we are in America, like a country in America. Krishna has given you sufficient things and you have time also. So please try to recognize the appearance of Krishna and the appearance, as I told you, that we should allow him to appear in our life. Otherwise, we are the cause of our own destruction. If we don't allow him, means always we are there in the lower modes. This is the first thing. So what Srila Gurudev has said is so true, that this is my personal experience, that if I'm really distressed or if I'm really upset about anything, and as soon as I might pick up my bead bag and start chanting, my mind is calm. I feel so good about it. Everything falls in place. So that is what I realized, that where Krishna's name is, everything, each and every activity about Krishna is so auspicious, and that is we have to do all the time and think about Krishna, do about Krishna, whatever. But that's what I realized, that we met for I think last month or so. We saw one of our very old friends, and after just asking about each other's health condition, this and that, there was no topic at all to talk about, because we have changed so much. These guys, they just talk about either politics or this problem, that problem, but we had nothing to talk about. So I was thinking, what, we have changed so much. Looks like we don't belong to this world now. So that's when I read this Srila Prabhupada's lecture, I was so I said, yeah, that's so true. And one of the quotes as well from Srila Gurudev: do not search for inspiration in the sky when it is so very much on the ground. Inspiration is not something when your hair stands on end and for a moment you feel like jumping high in Kirtan. Inspiration is actually coming from the platform of serious study of Srimad Bhāgavatam. If you bury your head in Bhāgavatam, then naturally Krishna gives you the impetus to become inspired on the basis of Bhāgavatam. By remembrance of Krishna, we are inspired. And we get, I personally feel that when I'm hearing all the devotees' realizations, when we associate with devotees, associate with Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, we get so much inspiration, and it really gives us impetus and to just progress in our bhakti. So I was also reading Srila Gurudev's lecture, which Amrish Prabhu posted yesterday, in the same context, about Dwarka's temple, how Srila Prabhupada actually endured all the hardships there, how people were actually trying to get the house vacated by him. And then suddenly, as soon as he brought Krishna's deity there, everything fell in place. So everything about Krishna is auspicious. So we have to, Krishna has to appear in my heart all the time. That's what I pray. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mother. Very nice. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Who's remaining? Is Loli Mataji, she at work now? Sunji Prabhu, is she at work?
No, Prabhuji. She's listening, but she's doing some assignments.
Okay. She wants to give her realizations at all? Or?
I'll ask her.
I think she's online now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, I would also like to give realization. from today's, I'll just read it from here. So I just switch off the video first. So my realization from today's the text you sent, the verse from Srila Gurudev, that how we deal with like the other people and the things surrounding us are not the cause of our distress, but if we have the pure devotional service, then that's the only thing where we can get out of like such a distress, and where we can give ourselves the relief of this distress. So I found really good words in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says, it's from the Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. In this chapter, Lord says that one should surrender unto him, giving up all other engagements. The Lord also gives his word there that he will protect surrendered souls from the reactions of all sinful activities. Srila Rupa Goswami says that the distress from sinful activities are due both to the sins themselves and to sin committed in our past lives. Generally, one commits sinful activities due to ignorance, but ignorance is no excuse for evading the reaction, distress. Krishna consciousness can initially be based simply on hearing about Krishna, chanting about him, and remembering him. But the first-class devotional service is known by our tendency to be fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, serving the Lord favorably. The purport is that we may also be in Krishna consciousness unfavorably, but that cannot be continued as the pure devotional service. The pure devotional service should be free from the desire for any material benefit or for sense gratification, as these desires are cultivated through fruitive activities and philosophical speculation. Generally, we engaged in different activities to get some material profit, while most philosophers are engaged in proposing transcendental realization through volumes of word jugglery and speculation. But pure devotional service must always be free from such fruitive activities and philosophical speculations. We have to learn Krishna consciousness or pure devotional service from the authorities by the spontaneous loving service. This devotional service is a sort of cultivation. It is not simply inaction for people who like to be inactive or devote their name to silent meditation. Although cultivation of Krishna consciousness is different, has to be done by following the acharyas. As soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity. Without activity, consciousness alone cannot help us. These activities divided into two classes. One class may be for achieving a certain goal, and the other may be for avoiding some unfavorable circumstances. If we are cultivating spiritual life, executing devotional service, we are always engaged in activity. Such activity can be performed with the body, with the mind, and thinking, feeling, willing are all activities of the mind. When we will do something, the activity comes to be manifest by the gross bodily sense. That is why we should always try to think of Krishna and try to plan how to please him, following in the footsteps of the great acharyas and personal spiritual master. There are activities of the body, of the mind, and of speech. A Krishna conscious person engages his word in preaching the glories of the Lord. And by our mind, we can always think of the activities of the Lord, engaging in his various pastime in Vrindavan and his devotee. In this way, we can always think of the activities and pastime of the Lord. This is the mental culture of Krishna consciousness. Similarly, we can offer many services with our bodily activities. But all such activities must be relation with Krishna. This relationship is established by connecting oneself with the bona fide spiritual master, and who is the direct representative of Krishna in disciplic succession. Therefore, the execution of the Krishna consciousness activities with the body should be directed by the spiritual master and then performed with faith. In Chaitanya Charanamrita by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Lord Chaitanya states that it is a fortunate person who comes in contact with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. To one who is serious about spiritual life, Krishna gives the intelligence to come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master. And then, by the grace of the spiritual master, one becomes advanced in Krishna consciousness. In this way, the whole jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness is directly under the spiritual energy, the Krishna and the spiritual master. So that's what my realization, Prabhuji, from like how we can, it's a bit elaboration, how we can feel free from the distress just with the devotional service. And there is no other way in this world where we can come out of this distress. So just engaging ourselves completely through our acharyas in the devotional service is the main, the root cause of just to get out of this stress. Thank you, Prabhuji. This is my realization. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Mother. Hare Krishna. Did you write this?
I wrote this, Prabhuji, from different chapters, from different verses of 8th chapter.
Very good, very good. So, Sanjeev Prabhu, you are a guru there, you know. Look at that. See, you started to preach your downline, your family is progressing so nicely. I'm not saying you're not progressing before. It's so good, man.
All credit goes to you, Prabhuji.
Why are you going? No. That is over. Credit is taken. I've accepted also. I become fat also with that. Credit goes to you, all of you. Very nice.
No,
Yes.
it's all your training and guidance, Prabhuji. It's, we all engaged. Thank you.
Wonderful. Very nice. I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy. You know. Now we are 7:15 now. 7:13. I wanted to say a few words. Now I think I'll speak in 2 words now. You know, very quickly on these few points I wanted to say, because this is very relevant today. One of my godbrother sent me a verse from Rajkot. You know? I don't know. Never sends me today. He sent me, and it is very relevant verse. I remember reading it myself and I made some notes, but today with our realizations, it is very relevant. You know. See, I don't know whether we can. Okay. Everyone can see this now, yeah? So recite after me, please. The 7:15:24. This is how to save one from Adi Bhautik.
Can you just, thank you. Just increase the font a little bit.
Okay, so how, is it okay now? Everyone can read this? Right, so how can one save oneself from Adi Bhautik? Means suffering from others. We have typical discussion today. How can one conquer karmas? You know? And how can one conquer the mode of ignorance? You know? So this is very nicely done, very nicely spoken here. It's in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhāgavatam. So the first line, please repeat after me. Krupaya bhutajam dukkham. Say repeat, please repeat. Krupaya bhutajam dukkham. It's very simple. Krupaya means please be merciful. You know, this is the word which we use in our normal vocabulary. You know? Krupaya, so being merciful. Bhutajam. Bhutajam means the pains that have been given to us. So I'm moving very fast, okay, just to compress in few minutes. So Bhutajam means by other living entities. Dukkham, who have given us pains. So this is the first line, gives us the answer about how one should be merciful. How by being merciful towards other living entity, krupaya, by being krupaya to other bhutajam, all living entities, you can conquer dukkham by them. Yeah. Now, how to do this krupaya doesn't mean that you keep on giving them mercy all the time. There is a particular way of doing it. We'll elaborate this later on, but at least the pointer is there. So the first line talks about this. Krupaya bhutajam dukkham. Please repeat after me, please. Krupaya bhutajam dukkham. So you got this now. Yeah. Second is what it talks about how one can conquer one's karmas. Okay. Daivam means all the problems that have been from the superior authority. Providence. Daiva means providence. When there is a disturbance coming from providence, Jayat. Jayat means those who are giving us trouble. Samadhina by trance or meditation. Jayat is one should give up. So by the problems that have been given to us by Daivam, superior authorities, that we can conquer, by samadhina or trance. This is very important. These two lines, they give us solution for these two things. Yeah. Now the third, so here we are talking about how Adi Bhautik problem is solved, being merciful. How our own karmas, dukkha from the karmas can be conquered by samadhina or trance or meditation or chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, performing devotional activities. Then it says, Atmajam yoga viryena. So, Atmajam meaning what? Problems of our own self. Atmajam, for body and the mind, it's called Atma. Atmajam yoga viryena. The problems coming from our mind and the body, we can control by yoga, Hatha yoga. Now, the best place of Hatha yoga is to walk. Yes, there is pranayama and all that. If you can do, good. But there's no need to do extra endeavor for it. You just walk. Go for a walk. Is best, Maharaj would say, is the best exercise. I remember I was in Rajkot. I'll tell this, I've mentioned in the past also to devotees, that Maharaj were sitting very nicely, chanting on the beach outside Maharaj's bhajan kutir. At that time it was just a hut, Now it is a big thing. So it was so beautiful. There was a breeze coming and Maharaj was chanting. It was transcendental situation, And after Mangalarti, it was about 10 o'clock or something, everything was settled, So I didn't want to disturb, because if I come from the front, Maharaj would start to speak to me, I come from New Zealand and all that. Maharaj would think, he wants to associate with me. So I came from the side and I quietly sat down on the floor. Maharaj on the seat, or Maharaj chanting. Maharaj noticed me, I was sitting there, and we were chanting, and I also started to chant, on my beach quietly on the side, So as that time Maharaj said, at any time, Ambarish, if you fall sick, and Maharaj was telling me to tell all of you, this is how the instructions were, So Maharaj said, anytime you feel Ambarish, if you feel sick or something, in New Zealand there are so many parks and all, you just go to the park and walk, breathe the fresh air, Maharaj said. And said that, see this fresh air which is coming now, the breeze coming, this is the best medicine for high blood pressure, Just sitting quietly. And that is so true. I felt the same, when Maharaj spoke. And I've been telling this so many times to the devotees with me, What to do now? New devotees keep coming, so I repeat the same instruction. So all the old ones, you feel bored, He's become old now, repeating the same instruction and nonsense, what he heard from Guru. But new people are there, they'll benefit, and I benefit in repeating it. Because I had taken at that time, as I said, whatever the instruction Maharaj said to me, internally I had taken wow, I'm going to repeat this. I'm going to memorize this. I'm going to share with people. So this is what it was. First thing Maharaj said was, so beautiful it is. Breeze coming? No, there is no blood pressure. Anyone has a blood pressure problem, let them take this breeze. I said, that's right, Maharaj, absolutely correct. And second thing Maharaj said was, you must go. You walk, And third thing Maharaj said is that you must come to India at least once in 2 years, if you can. India, do it as a medical cost. India is better for all these things, No need for any medicines in New Zealand. Just come to India The breeze is very nice, we walk nicely. So we both agreed that yes, because I'd spoken to Maharaj before also or after, that there may be smoke in India, in Mumbai, but Maharaj, the air is very soft, in India. As compared to New Zealand, you may be pure, you may find non-polluted air, but it is very heavy to smoke, to breathe, Maharaj. So I spoke to other devotees also. They said, yes, that's because of the karmas, Other devotees said to me, all this slaughtering of the animals, that's why we can feel it. You guys feel it? You feel it? When you go to India, the air is soft, Although pollution in Mumbai especially, a lot of pollution, but soft air is there. So Maharaj said, once in 2
Yes,
years.
you're so right, Prabhuji, about the air. And as you were explaining this Rajkot, the breeze, I remember also that there was something special about the breeze in Rajkot because of Srila Gurudev's presence.
Yes.
Definitely I have experienced that. Hare Krishna. Sorry to interrupt.
That's good. That's good. Perfect. So this is what Maharaj said. Come to India for this. Now, so we studied here. First line is what? Who would repeat? First line, Krupaya Bhutajam Dukkham. What are we solving this? What are we solving this? By doing this? Tell me so I'll write down. Anyone please? Don't read
Karmas.
verse on your own. Krupaya Bhutajam Dukkham. What are we solving this first line? Don't read anywhere else. Just remember what we discussed.
By being Krupaya, we are resolving our karmas.
No.
No?
Problems caused to us by other living entities.
Yeah.
Adi Bhautik? Yeah. Adi Bhautik.
Adi Bhautik. Adi Bhautik. Dukh. Solving. So we are solving Adi Bhautik Dukh. Okay. Right. Now, what is the solution for second? What is this given second here? Daivam Jahyat Samadhina. Who would like to say this, please?
Problems caused by the higher authorities of the demigods.
You don't give all the answers, Divyanshu.
Okay,
You're very good. Scholarly. Others, please. What does it say here? Sorry, I'm not sharing. Am I sharing? No. I'll share now. Yeah. So, Daivam Jahyat Samadhina. So what's happening here? What are we solving? You need to unmute yourself. Otherwise, I'll go to Divyanshu. She'll answer the questions.
Adi Devik, Prabhu?
So what is it? Tell me. Daivam Jahyat Samadhina.
Samadhina. By Samadhi, we solving this problem.
What problem?
Adi Devik.
No. Somebody else, please. Samadhina, you answered. Yes. By trance. So what is happening?
Providence, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So what is that? Daivam is providence. So what is it doing? What problems come from providence?
So that's by our own karmic reaction in the past.
Yeah, our own karmas. We are solving our own karmas.
That's samadhi, yeah.
Okay, by trance, samadhi, meditation, thinking, right? Okay, now what is third line? Atma Jam Yoga Viryena. What does it mean? What are we solving here? Somebody else, please. Atma Jam means what? Look at one word, each word.
Adhyatmic klesh.
Yeah.
So the problems caused by our own mind is
And
actually
body.
solved through
Yes.
yogic process.
Our own body and mind. So we are solving the problems of our own body and mind. Yeah. Atma Jam Yoga Viryena. By Yoga Viryena, we are solving the problems which are imposed upon us by Atma Jam. By the body and mind. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Nidram Sattva Vishaya. Here it is, last line. Now, Nidra meaning what? Everybody knows. Come on, Nidra meaning what? Sleeping. You have problem to sleep? I don't have a problem to sleep. I can sleep nicely. I have a problem of oversleeping, you know. So, here, the Nidra meaning mode of ignorance also. You understand this point? So we can solve the problem of mode of ignorance by doing what? Sattva Nishevaya. Sattva meaning mode of goodness. Okay. So you can conquer ignorance by developing mode of goodness, yeah, or qualities of mode of goodness which Brahmanas have. And by doing what? Nishevaya, by honoring food, which is sattvic. That's it. If you honor prasadam, the right quantity and quality of prasadam at the right time, you are solving the problem of sleep. Best way to do it is to have prasadam early. If you can have prasadam early, you can solve the problem of sleeping, waking up early. You see, I remember as a new bhakta, so many senior devotees would come and tell me that the best way to wake up for Mangalarti or early morning, is to eat less in the night or eat early at night. This is what they would tell me. And it is so true. I remember last time when I was in India, I was about 5:30, 6 o'clock. I was at Jew temple, ISKCON temple, you know. And nice, I was tourist, you know. So I walked away from the temple and gone to the beach there. Coconut water I was drinking nicely, you know, enjoying myself there. The brahmachari boy came there, you know. I said, "You'll have?" I told him, "Coconut water?" He said, "No, Prabhu, thank you. I had my prasadam." I said, "Oh, sorry, prasadam?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, Mangalarti." He said, "Yes." I said, "How did you arrange this? Normally to have prasadam, even I want to have early, man. But I have to wait for all the mess, you know, that cooking thing and all these things. Much later on, you can finish it by 7:30 only or 8 o'clock, you will get prasadam. In India, it's too late, man." He said, "No, I have some arrangements made, you know. So I get prasadam early." He tells me, he lives there, you know, so nicely. So if you have sattvic food, then you can have prasadam. This prasadam will help us to come out of ignorance. Very simple. Anybody can do this, right? Right. Let's see the translation and finish the discussion now with the translation. Who would like to read this, please? Yes, read.
By good behavior and freedom from envy, one should counteract sufferings due to other living entities.
Yes.
By meditation.
This is the first point. Yeah. By good behavior and freedom from envy. We don't worry about, as I told you when I started the discussion, I said, we are not claiming to be big philosophers. We are not claiming to be big pandits, but we know what we are knowing and we are learning new. And whatever we know, we are sharing. Simple as that. We are not competing with anybody. If somebody says, "I'm a better pandit than you," I said, "Of course, I'm not pandit at all. You're better than me, 100%. Problem solved. No envy. Yeah. But that does not mean you cannot protect yourself. Self-preservation is something different than envy. We're not envious. We protect ourselves. Okay. All right. So Adi, bhautik problem is solved here. All right. Then, sorry, I did something wrong.
Yes.
Right.
By meditation and trance, one should counteract sufferings due to providence.
Yes. So by chanting of the holy names sincerely, and to sincerely chant, you must study sincerely. You must associate sincerely, spend the time sincerely, all good done sincerely. So we solve the problem of karmas, providence. Then,
and by practicing Hatha Yoga, pranayam, and so forth, one should counteract sufferings due to the body and mind.
yes, I can tell you one thing. If you do these three things, if you study sincerely, if you chant sincerely, and if you preach sincerely, to preach sincerely, you have to study sincerely and chant sincerely and meditate upon it. If you do these things just to preach, you will come to a stage where your mind doesn't have any thoughts. Wait. You want it tomorrow to come. That's a problem. We have to wait. We have to be patient. You said patient? Patient perseverance. Everybody is looking for, man, my mind is constantly thinking of something else. Thinking this or thinking that or this or that, jumping up and down. You will feel, if you do this preaching sincerely, you will experience peace. The mind is rested. And there is a mercy of Krishna. When he is satisfied, it will happen. Now, it is at that point in time that you fill your mind only with Krishna. You see? So, at least we must pray for about 20 years, 30 years, along with preaching. We must pray that Krishna give me freedom of time so I can get time to talk and think about you. This running around, job, business, family, all this, give me some peace on this. He will give you peace if you're preaching, when he knows. And when that is there, make the most of it, you will have that peace. You see? I can tell you this. This is the point. This is the point where this particular verse here is saying that by practicing Hatha Yoga, pranayam, one or so forth, one can counteract sufferings due to mind. And the best way of pranayam is to chant the holy names. Breathe in, breathe out, chanting of the holy names. That's why 16 rounds culminates to the number of times you breathe in and breathe out in one day. This is scientifically proved. 16 times 108, right, is the number of times we breathe in and breathe out in a single day. So every breathing out and breathing in, you're taking Krishna's name. The best pranayam process. And walk. If you got time, walk. If you want to exercise, do exercise. If you want to build bodybuilding, if you want to do it, no problem. I also do bodybuilding. So that's fine once upon a time. And it doesn't matter. But at least this basic thing of walking and chanting, this is where the mind is completely controlled. And what is the last point?
Similarly, by developing the mode of goodness, especially in regard to eating, one should conquer sleep.
Yes. So to develop mode of goodness, especially one should control what one is eating. And that's why we've got the fasting ceremony on important festivals. We are fasting for Ekadashis and all that, you know. So nice. Your stomach is free. You stop eating. Not that in a Ekadashi we cook more food, man. We are so worried. Ekadashi. Oh my God, Ekadashi. Cooking this, cooking that. Stop it. Every 11 day, stop it. I mean, of course, you're working and all, you require that time and energy. If you're young, that's fine. But if after a certain age, have fruits, have milk, morning and evening. That's it. Stop it. So their stomach is stomach is free. So we are free from cooking and all those things, you know, offering, cooking, this, that. 2 days before that, we're thinking about Ekadashi. All Mataris do. No problem. So now we have got lockdown. If you're at home, have Ekadashi, have fruits and milk. Best. Die. without my khichdi, I'm going to die. Without this, I'm going to die. Die. This is where mode of goodness is needed. Okay, Brahmanas. So this is where the Brahmanical qualifications are needed to be developed. You know, that is the point. Because in the word translation, it is mentioned. Srila Prabhupada says this mode of goodness. Prabhupada mentioned is that by developing the sattva nishvaya, sattva. It will go down. Sattva nishevaya. The translation is given as by developing Brahmanical qualifications or the mode of goodness. Because Brahmanas means mode of goodness. That's it. So by doing this, again, now repeat the translation again, once more time.
By good behavior and freedom from envy, one should counteract sufferings due to other living entities. By meditation in trance, one should counteract sufferings due to providence. And by practicing Hatha Yoga, pranayama, and so forth, one should counteract sufferings due to the body and mind. Similarly, by developing the mode of goodness, especially in regard to eating, one should conquer sleep.
Yes. Problem solved. Is it not so? This is it. This is it. This is what I wanted to share. Thank you very much. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. I think we'll sing these words one more time and then we'll finish today. Okay? Okay, please repeat after me. Krupaya bhutajam dukkham Daivam jahiyat samadhina Atmajam yoga vidyena Nidram sattva nishevaya. Okay, that's it. Simple. So first line is solving Adi Bhautik problem. Second one is solving our own karmas, we're solving. Third thing, we're solving the problem of body and mind, our own enemies. We make them our friends. And Nidram, by solving ignorance, problem of ignorance, and sleeping more. This is the best part. These are all for me, because I'm suffering from all these things. Thank you very much. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Now we are way over time. Anyone want to say something? Please feel free to speak. Okay, all right, wonderful. So we would like to finish the discussion today. Who's going to sing today? Singers have come. Very good. Is it yours, Navina? Or is it Subhadra?
Subhadra's turn.
Yeah. Why, Subhadra, what are you wearing? You're wearing something different today. What have you done to your hair? You look all right. What's that?
Yes. Say Hare Krishna first.
Hare Krishna, Babaji. Hare Krishna, Babaji.
Hare Krishna, Madhavji. आप लोग ठीक है? Doing well?
Yes.
Very good. So you're going to sing? Both of you are going to sing?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, start now, all right?
Maharaj, please hear us. Maharaj, please hear us. We have learned some real good stuff. We have learned some real good stuff. Maharaj, we have learned one thing. Maharaj, we have learned one thing. And today for you we will sing. And today for you we will sing. If our room is clean, then our mind is clean. If our mind is clean, we can do anything. If our room is dirty, then so are we. But if we are dirty, we're not happy. Wasting time is the greatest crime. Because wasted time means a wasted mind. So best is your time.
Best is your time.
When you're in your prime. And your whole life will be sublime. If our room is
No. If your wealth is
if your wealth is gone, there's nothing wrong.
But
But if your health is gone, that's a different song. But if your character's died, then the world will cry. Only saintly behavior, that's a manatee thrive. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We must always remember Krishna.
We must always remember Krishna
And never forget him too.
and never forget him too.
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
That is the greatest question.
That is the greatest question.
And here's the greatest clue.
And here is the greatest clue.
You can only
You
remember.
must
learn to work so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
You must learn to work so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
So listen very closely.
So listen very closely
And make your thinking sharp.
and make your thinking sharp.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart. If something
If something due tomorrow,
If something's due tomorrow,
finish it today.
finish it today.
Whatever's due today,
And whatever's due today,
do it now, don't delay.
do it now, don't delay.
Your friends might be lazy.
Your friends might be lazy
Or doing bad things.
or doing bad things.
But if you think again,
If you do it again,
don't follow them.
don't follow them,
And you will win the end.
and you'll win the end.
Whatever work we're given,
Whatever work we given,
we do our very best.
we do our very best.
We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
This is how to live, to work and to play. If you learn this way, you'll see Krishna every day.
This is how to live, to work and to play. Learn this way, see Krishna every day.
When our time is up, he'll take us up above. We'll sing and dance with him with a heart full of love.
And when our time is up, he take us up above. We sing and dance with him with a heart full of love.
So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. He's the only in this world who can ever become sane.
So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. It's only way this world will ever become sane.
Now please ask this greatest question.
Now please ask this greatest question
And find this greatest clue.
and find this greatest clue.
You can only remember Krishna.
You can only remember Krishna
If Krishna remembers you.
if Krishna remembers you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai. His Holiness Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki Jai. Jai Gaur Chandra Premanande.
Hari Hari.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastava Bhutale Shrimati Mahavishnu Goswami Tinamine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastava Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Govani Pachayane. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatari Sarine. Jai Hare Krishna. Okay, very nice. So we'll see you next week. Same place, same time. And till then, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.